they got to wake up with their piss hot. So, you just got to be ready to go. And that's reality. That is the way it is.
Woke up with my piss hot. What a way to start. Sweat on my forehead, racing hard. Woke up with my piss hot. Ready to ignite. Let's raise some hell. Let's own the night.
Daniels, just a rookie. 26 out of 30, 87%, 231 yards. He rushes for 47. He's doing everything. Shredded, baby. C.J. Stroud, 345 yards, brings the Texans back, wins it at the buzzer. Shred him, Stroud.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, now we can't hear you. No audio.
Times the issues. Am I here now?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. Hello. We take a week off, as I was saying, and we just start having all these issues, but little do the people know we were having these issues even before we went away. Somebody doesn't know how to work the volume on their computer. Me, I'm out in the wilderness, so I have bad connection all the time. But hello, we're back. Flurry Sports, Week 14, Fantasy Football, Stardom, Sid'em Show. Henry John alongside Zach McAdoo. McAdoo, how are you? How was your Thanksgiving? We didn't do the show last week because Thursday was the holiday and there were games all day long. So who wants to watch us when that's going on? But how you been, man?
We are good, even though it's not week 12 like our little indicator says. We were in week 14. But it was a good week.
Week 14.
I still see week 12. But I do want to point out, because we weren't on here last week. What happened the Saturday before? Not last Saturday, but Saturday before. Were you paying attention in college football?
I figured you wore that hat for me, and you're a piece of shit for that. The college football playoff committee is also a piece of shit. I hope Clemson wins, and they are forced to do whatever they do with Alabama and SMU. And if they leave SMU out after that, they can go pound sand, because I'm an SEC guy, you're an SEC guy, but that's ridiculous.
I think Ole Miss should be in over Bama, but both Bama and Ole Miss over Miami, because fuck Miami.
All we did was drop South Carolina on the road by 24. All Alabama did was barely beat them on their home field. Alabama beat LSU. I guess they got that on us, but we should have beat them too. You know what? Alabama lost to Oklahoma and bum-ass Vanderbilt. Get them out of there. It's the Alabama Invitational. I've been listening to shit on that all week. It's fantasy football talk here. It's week 14. It's must win for a lot of people. For most leagues, the playoffs start next week. So whether you are trying to win your way in, or you're trying to improve your seeding, or in some cases, I have talked to people who they have leagues where the playoffs are starting this week in week 14. McAdoo, by the gestures you're making, I assume you're one of them. The joys of starting the playoffs with a half dozen teams on bye. Am I right?
Oh, I let the dude hear it too. I let the commissioner have it. It's like, why the hell are we having week 14 matchups? Because I don't understand it. You want, for the playoffs, you want the best teams, You're screwing over guys who have Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. Anthony Richardson's been pretty good the last couple weeks. it's just makes Bo Nix like it's mind boggling to me. And then the guy had the audacity to be like, oh, it's 2 weeks, it's fine. It's like, no, you're still screwing over guys for a week. Like
Nico
it's just mind
Collins,
boggling how
Ramondre
fucking stupid it is.
Stevenson, Hunter Henry at tight end. Like, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the guy's an idiot, anyways. Fucking his point system was stupid. So I told him not come back next week. So next year, my bad.
There you go. Just find a better league, man. Whatever you got,
My
though.
own.
Start sit questions. If you need a bye week fill in, a lot of guys out, as we mentioned there this week with the buys. Some streamer advice. There are streamers articles over on the website, flurrysports.org. That's the only reason we're here tonight, the two of us. And we'll jump into our start sit-em articles as well. Look at some of the names we threw out there, time permitting. But we're here for you guys first and foremost. So leave us your questions. Leave us your comments. How was your Thanksgiving? We can talk about just about anything here for the next little bit before a big Thursday night game tonight, Packers-Lions. Excited for that one. Kicking it off here in the chat from Twitch. We're getting started. Would we trade Jameis Winston and an early third-round pick for Trey Benson? He is in rebuild mode. So obviously this is a dynasty league. It is a super flex. So obviously that bumps up the value of Winston quite a bit. You're giving up an early third-round pick for Trey Benson. McAdoo, do you think Jameis Winston's a starter in the NFL next year? Is he going to be back in Cleveland as they try to figure out what the hell they're doing with the whole Deshaun Watson situation? And I guess at the end of the day, would you take this trade? That's the question that's been posed to us.
I don't see, only because Jimmy has like a hard on for Deshaun Watson for some reason. I don't think they're going to let him go until like the contract's up. And then they might see, hey, yeah, he's pretty shit. We're going to let him go, even though everyone around the NFL knows, hey, Deshaun Watson's pretty shit now, and he's also a shitty human being, but that's beside the point. Is he back next year? Is Winston back next year on the Browns? Or was
I
it
don't know
1 year
if it'll
deal?
be the Browns, but I also know they took a lot of heat for jettisoning Joe Flacco like they did when everyone knew he should have been back over Watson. I think, for me, what this trade boils down to is, do I think Jameis Winston should be a starting quarterback in the NFL somewhere else? And when you look around the league at the 30 teams, I know we're going to have, obviously, a rookie draft class coming up that's going to fill probably some of those holes. But right now, yeah, he's not the 33rd best quarterback or the 32nd best quarterback in the league, like playing as a backup. So we're talking a super flex here, early third-round pick, and Jameis Winston for Trey Benson, who I like Benson a lot, but Cardinals just extended James Conner. Don't know what the future of that backfield necessarily holds, so I don't know that I'm rushing to do this trade.
I have
That's
to agree.
just me. If you are rebuilding, though, I can see the onus to do it. I'm trying to pull up here if I can. There we go. Just looking at this on the dynasty player values I use. Winston. It's close. So according to the numbers I tend to lean towards, it would be an L. But, if you're rebuilding and you just want to take that chance, I don't hate it. Do you have a strong lean one way or another? Let's assume Winston is back and starting for mediocre team whatever next year. Would you do it? Because that's kind of, I feel like, the best case scenario for him, right?
I don't think I would keep Winston over trying to trade for a backup running back.
Yeah. Especially with Connor getting that extension, I think that depletes Benson's value just a tad there. So, although he has looked good when he's getting the opportunities, but like McAdoo says, he is still the backup. So, all right. We pivot to a quarterback question for Week 14 now. Jameis Winston, Justin Herbert, or Kirk Cousins? 4 points, per touchdown pass in his league. So, all right. Kirk Cousins, revenge angle, going up against the Vikings. Whatever's left of Kirk Cousins, he appears to be a shell of himself at this point. I think the guy is pretty banged up. That's just my take. Justin Herbert and the Chargers have the Chiefs, and then Jameis Winston and the Browns also with a tough matchup against the Steelers this week in terms of defense. All three of these are really going up against good defenses. What would your inkling be here?
I'm not starting Cousins. I think we need to see something from him before I put him back in my lineup.
Agreed.
And thank God in our Superflex Dynasty League, I have actually Cousins might be my worst quarterback on my team right now with the way Bryce Young's playing. But
Yeah.
that's something to say when actually you look at the way the first 3 weeks were for him. Now, I'm leaning Herbert here. I don't know what it is besides it's a divisional matchup, and whenever the Chargers and Chiefs play, it's always shenanigans. And something this week tells me Sunday Night Football, Chargers coming in, there's going to be some shenanigans at play.
Yeah, I think it would be Herbert for me too. A little concerned about Ladd McConkey's status. Last I had heard, he potentially is trending towards not suiting up for this game. But don't know if I necessarily fully trust that, and that was yesterday that I got that info, so I haven't seen the latest update. I can try and dig for that here while we work on these other questions. I want to say Jameis Winston, but after he just went off last week, and the Steelers are going to be out for blood in this one after losing to the Browns 2 weeks ago, getting embarrassed in that game back in Pittsburgh's home field. That defense has kind of gotten not great out of the Steelers defense here these last couple of weeks. I think it's a bounce back spot for them in a division rivalry game. To your point, the Chargers always play the Chiefs tough. So McConkey's status is something I do want to dig up here, but I would definitely go, I think, Herbert of these three. Certainly not Kirk Cousins. To your point, like, we got to see him look like Kirky before I think you can start him at all. I will dig and see the latest update on McConkey. I will give you Jelly of the Month's question to start digging into. In the meantime, tough bye week flex, PPR league, Gus Edwards, Kareem Hunt, or Braylon Allen. Not sure on Breece Hall's status. He could drop one for Zach Charbonnet or Sincere McCormick as far as options that are available on the waiver wire. I agree. This is a tough one. Obviously, Edwards in that matchup against the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt going against the Chargers in that same game. Braylon Allen, Breece Hall's backup for the Jets as they play the Dolphins. And then you've got Charbonnet with Seattle against Arizona and McCormick with the Raiders. What would be your initial lean here? Obviously, it's not attractive, but with all these buys, like we said off the top, this is what some people are going to be looking at in flex spots here for Week 14, myself included. So,
if Breece Hall does not go, I think you have to go Braylon Allen. If Breece is in, I gotta think it's Gus Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbins is on IR now, and so most of the workload is going to be going towards Gus Edwards.
Yes. Okay, McConkey was limited in practice again today. So this is just following up on that last question. Looks like he is trending towards playing in Week 14. So to follow up on that answer, yes, definitely Justin Herbert. All right. As far as this running back situation is concerned, how do you feel about Charbonnet? If he were to drop one of those guys, how would you feel about him against Arizona?
Kenneth Walker's still there. It's gonna. I don't like unless Charbonnet is the starter. I don't feel like you can start him.
Well, a couple weeks ago against Arizona, only 6 carries, 22 yards. Last week he scored a touchdown against the Jets, so that inflated his value. I tend to think you're probably right on that.
Every game minus the Atlanta game that Charbonnet's had with Walker available, he hasn't been more than 45% snap count. So
Chiefs give up the fewest fantasy points PPR wise of any team to opposing packs. That's my concern with Gus Edwards. I don't think Gus Edwards is just eating up the volume there either, like he potentially did in previous years when the Ravens were without J.K. Dobbins and others. He only played 52% of the snaps last week, only had 6 carries. Granted, the Chargers did not have the football all that much in that game, but that offense was not great against Atlanta's defense. So that worries me a little bit. Kamani Vidal, the rookie, I think would be the preferred pass catching back in those situations. Obviously, Hassan Haskins he sucks, but he could mix in there as well. I think obviously if Breece Hall's out, I agree with you. It'd be Braylon Allen. Let me check on him. Missed practice again today with the knee injury. So he has not practiced at all this week. On Wednesday, interim coach was optimistic about his chances of playing. Might have changed today, though. So I'm definitely going to hang on to Braylon Allen. I might go Kareem Hunt over Edwards, though. I might.
even with Pacheco back,
I don't think they're going to run Pacheco all that much. Like, I think the goal of the Chiefs right now is to just maintain their record, get the 1 seed or not, because they showed last year they can go on the road and win in the playoffs, so who cares? And they're going to keep this a split, and then when it gets to the playoffs, all right, Pacheco, here you go. You're going to get the lion's share. That's my read on that backfield. I actually had both guys as sits in the column that went up today over on the site, and it's for that reason. Like, I think they cannibalize each other. Last week, they both had exactly 7 carries. Pacheco was far more efficient, but I don't know. That's really close. I guess I would be fine with either one, Edwards or Hunt. If Breece Hall misses the game, though, I think I would look Braylon Allen. So I definitely agree with you there. The other 2 guys, I don't think I'm as interested in. They're all kind of close together. Like, I could see you making a case for even, like, Sincere McCormick over, Kareem Hunt, just given the timeshare, or Gus Edwards. None of these guys have a great situation. But it would be Hunt or Edwards for me. I guess McAdoo likes Gus Edwards, so we'll go with that, unless Breece Hall misses the game. There we go. Next up, Kyle Woods. Defense question, the Chargers or the Seahawks? The opponent has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Ooh, a little gamemanship here. Okay. I like both defenses. The Seahawks made my streamers column. The Chargers very close. I was very close to putting the Chargers where the Seahawks ultimately landed. I went with Seattle because they were owned in fewer leagues at the time. The Chiefs offense doesn't scare me, especially like the Chargers defense, I think, is pretty solid. So, and I like what Seattle's defense has done out of the bye here the last 3 weeks. They've been much improved. Would you go with the Chargers, knowing that the opponent, like, that could ultimately, potentially decide the matchup in a way?
I mean, here's usually I don't say start the team against the Kansas City Chiefs because it's Mahomes on the other side. But this year, Mahomes is tied for third for throwing the most picks. He's got 11 on the year. So the Chargers don't look bad as far as that, but personally, I think I'm leaning towards Seattle because a couple weeks ago when the Seattle played Arizona, they were able to stop them pretty well. They held Murray to little all, so I think I'm leading Seattle in this scenario.
Meeting number, you just referenced Seattle's game against Arizona there 2 weeks ago. Why are there so many teams that played the same divisional opponent 2 times in 3 weeks? Like, that bothers me, especially late in the year like this. Like, Seattle, Arizona are doing it. Cleveland,
Buffalo's going
Pittsburgh
to have
are
a week
doing
16 and 18 with New England.
Yeah, it's come on, man.
I wish they would do like the first 3 games of the year against divisional opponents and the last 3 against divisional opponents. Like your fantasy.
Truly... Yes, sir. That's how yes, completely agree. Chargers in the first meeting against the Chiefs, which was all the way back in week 4, so they've had some time to, play some other teams in between. 17 points allowed, 3 sacks, 2 turnovers forced. 1 was a pick, 1 was a fumble. They allowed 329 yards. So not a bad showing there either. Chiefs, I heard, are getting an offensive lineman back this week, but the pass blocking there continues to be a problem for them. So that's the one, sure thing. I'm sure the Chargers can probably do something with that. But like you said, Seattle did well against Arizona. It is Kyler Murray, who I still don't trust. I like both, but I'd probably go Seattle. So I agree with you. Hello, Kay. Are we starting Brock Purdy or Jay Herbie?
Give me Herbie the Love Bug. I don't trust the Niners yet.
Yeah, it is tough to trust the Niners right now, for sure. Losing all those weapons. Brock Purdy himself has been banged up. Has to be Justin Herbert there against Kansas City. Bears defense not bad either, especially in the secondary. They got some stud corners. So,
which before we go to the next question, I'm done drafting fucking Deebo Samuel. He's done fuck all this year. He's such a trash can. It's just not worth the headache.
Are you done drafting McCaffrey too?
I was never low enough to get him. Once I got him last year in the first year of the league, because it's for a YouTuber too. So he's just start it, and I kept him this year, which is a mistake. So
Deebo Samuel, I feel like it's a microcosm of the 49ers team this year. You kept waiting for him to snap out of it and have good fantasy games, just like we kept waiting for the Niners to snap out of this and just look like the Niners, and neither one has happened. So, yeah, that's about what it is.
Niners gonna fuck me in a parlay. So,
yep. You did not bet the win total over, did you?
I bet him to win the division. 18 parlay.
Okay. At least you didn't do the win total over. I would have told you to go under that all day. Mega Brick, hello, welcome back. It's a must-win week for him. Do we start Jared Goff tonight, or do we stream one of the following quarterbacks? Caleb Williams, Geno Smith, Will Levis, or Derek Carr? Derek Carr and the Saints have the Giants. Will Levis and the Titans have the Jags. Caleb Williams, like we said, against the Niners. Geno Smith against the Cardinals. No thank you on Derek Carr. Period. That's that for me. I am going to say no on Will Levis as well, just because of some of the options, the other options that you've listed here. I believe for me, this is going to come down to Jared Goff or how much faith do I have in Caleb Williams in that matchup? Give me Goff. He's been too good all year. I'm going to go with him tonight. Home field, nice, cool temperatures, nothing to worry about there. I feel like the Packers are a little fugazi too. I probably shouldn't say that, knowing that, that's what Lombardi sweeps for. I didn't listen to this week's yet, so don't hate me if I went against what they analyzed. But that's just
What the fuck does that Bruner guy know about the Packers anyway? Come on now.
Ooh,
He's
that was harsh.
gonna come after my ass now. but
Who do you like?
I don't like Goff tonight. I just looked. The last time these two teams played, it was 11.6 for him. For points wise, you're gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna say Levis. I like Will Levis this week against that atrocious Jags defense. Who, I mean, Levis has been done well the last 3 weeks. Why not throw him out there against the shitty defense?
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go Goff. I can't get there with Williams or Geno Smith. And Will Levis, you just know, as soon as you try to trust him in one of these matchups, he's going to throw it. That's a divisional game. Jags will probably sort of be up for it. Mac Jones rally the troops. You got to give me Goff. Lions are just too good.
And then Derek Carr, the Saints are injured to hell and back, so.
Yeah. No, you can't do that either.
Who's his wide receiver one right now? Is it it's MVS, but then after that?
Cedric Wilson?
So his wide receiver one was a guy who wasn't even on the team to start the year, and his wide receiver two is a guy who he have no idea who the fuck it is at this point. And we're gonna blame Derek Carr right now.
Mega Brick threw in Brock Purdy's also an option. Do you want to
No.
change your answer?
Yep.
No. Okay. All right.
Give me the Willie meme.
The Saints depth chart at wide receiver right now lists Mason Tipton, Cedric Wilson, and MVS. That's it. It's as bad as the Panthers depth chart at wide receiver right now.
So we have London Tipton's brother at wide receiver one. Wide receiver two, Cedric Wilson can fucking, you don't know. And MVS wasn't even on the roster to start the year. And we're going to blame Derek Carr.
MVS, career resurgence. Stephen Grease, hello. In a full PPR league, deciding on his two flex spots, options are Josh Jacobs, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Ladd McConkey. Are we starting anyone over Pickens or Jacobs? So, obviously, it's Josh Jacobs tonight and George Pickens against the Browns, who, talk about a resurgence. He has seen one since Russell Wilson took over. Najee Harris also against the Browns. Ladd McConkey, we've talked about. We were looking into his status because he has been listed as questionable. And I had heard somewhere that he may not play this week. It looks like he is going to play. Was again limited. He's been limited the last 2 days. So he appears to be trending in the right direction. Let me see here. Okay, the next one is separate. So basically, are we starting Najee Harris or Ladd McConkey over Jacobs or Pickens? That's the question.
No. I think you got to stick with George Pickens, despite his immaturity, and Josh Jacobs with how good he's been running. But wait a minute. Take Josh Jacobs out of your flex spot, too. Put him in your running back spot. What are you doing?
Okay. He must have a good team.
Well, my point is he's playing right now.
He definitely is.
Josh Jacobs plays in a half hour. That's what I'm saying.
Good point. Just in case something happens to one of your other running backs out of the blue, if you got a guy playing on Thursday night, start him in their positional spot. I think I am in agreement with you. Although Ladd McConkey, it's tough to sit him right now, assuming he's a full go, based on what he's been doing. Oh man, that's close. Josh Jacobs, yes, over Najee Harris. Josh Jacobs is definitely one of those flexes. totally splitting hairs, I think, for me between Pickens and McConkey this week. Assuming Ladd's healthy, good to go. So, however you want to do that, either way, I'm totally fine with it. McAdoo likes Pickens. Follow-up from Steven, also with Lamar Jackson on bye. Who are we picking up from the QB waiver wire? Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Cooper Rush, Matthew Stafford. I think this would be Caleb Williams for me. I think the Bears play, a little bit inspired this week after Eberflus was canned, even though I am almost certain that the end of game situation there, it comes back on him, but I don't think it was fully his fault. The Niners appear to be a dead team walking, just playing out the string. I think give me Caleb Williams. I'm not quite there with Russell Wilson or Geno Smith to that extent this week.
I'm gonna make this comment, and then this is gonna be the it for the Chicago Bears. Everyone here typing shit and has played Madden has better time management than whatever the fuck that was on Thanksgiving. How do you not use your timeout as soon as he gets sacked? Eberflus, Caleb Williams, it doesn't fucking matter. It was mind-boggling. It was stupid. But I'm gonna call myself stupid again here. I might look at Cooper Rush. He's playing against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is fucking atrocious this year. I'm between Cooper Rush and Russell Wilson for this one.
McAdoo, it's Cooper Rush.
I don't like Caleb Williams against the San Francisco defense. He had one good showing against the Lions. Wow, whoop-de-doo. Which, in the first half, they were god-awful. Geno Smith got stopped against the Cardinals not too long ago. Again, what did we say, 2 weeks ago they played? And then Matthew Stafford's playing against the Bills, who the Bills are good at stopping wide receivers and tight ends for that matter. And with Matt Milano coming back,
so you're going to go Russell Wilson. Please tell me you're going Wilson.
I'll let this guy decide.
I get what you're saying with the Bengals, but you
I'll
can't
let this
go
guy
Cooper
decide
Rush.
between Russell Wilson and Cooper Rush.
No, please decide between Caleb Williams and Russell Wilson will be my second option. But I like Williams in that matchup with everything going on there in Chicago and San Francisco for that matter too. Bryce, hello. Starting 2 wide receivers of these 3, Khalil Shakir, Jaden Reed, and Jerry Jeudy. So the Browns against Pittsburgh, the Packers tonight against the Lions, Khalil Shakir and the Buffalo Bills, champs of the regular season, against the LA Rams. I love Jaden Reed tonight. And part of that is because Romeo Doubs is not playing, I believe.
He's out. He is out.
Was trending towards not. Yeah. Okay. So not cleared from concussion officially. He's out. Give me Jaden Reed. And I don't know how you go away from Jerry Jeudy right now based on what Winston, that rapport. Even against Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think that's close between him and Shakir, but I don't know how you go away from him. So it'd be Jaden Reed, Jerry Jeudy for me.
I don't want to bias the show here. So I'll stay away from Shakir. We'll go Reed and Jeudy. I just with like you said, Dobbs is out this week, and Jeudy, he had 200 and something yards Monday. Ride the hot hand.
Rams secondary not great, so I can see it, but I also don't know that if the Bills just steamroll them on the ground, are they really going to need to throw that much? I don't know. Kind of like last week. Dylan, what's up? We need to pick 2 in a full PPR. He needs it for tonight. Jamison Williams, the Lions against Green Bay. Nick Westbrook-Akine. Awesome touchdown stretch here of late out of him against Jacksonville. Devontae Smith against the Panthers. Thanks in advance. Well, Devontae Smith has to be one of these.
He's full go. He's good to go.
Okay. And as far as the other one, well, I love what Westbrook Akine is doing as far as finding the end zone. I think the safe play, you can't rely on touchdowns weekly, although with him, it sure seems like you can at this point. But the 5 to 6 targets he's been getting, he's still only catching 2 of them, 3 at the most. So I would have to look at Jameson Williams, I think, as the second option there, right?
I said the Jacks defense is atrocious. I'm sticking to it. Give me Akine.
Okay. All right. So Will Levis, McAdoo's all in on the Titans. It's almost like me.
Did we flip spots with the Titans? Where I was the one calling them atrocious, and now you want to stick away from them?
It's almost like we have. I'm not against it. Like I like them this week. I just think some of these other guys who are being brought up in the questions are better. Don't know if I can get there with ATS though in the contest. It's like 3.5. I have had the Titans more than any other team. It shows what I know, but that's what happens when you take dogs a lot. Dylan Clark, from one Dylan to another Dylan. Tyreek Hill, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakir. It is PPR. Obviously, Hill going against the Jets, and then Jaden Reed is so boom or bust. That is his concern there. I'm assuming we're starting one, but if we had to rank all of them in order, I guess we could do that too in case he does need to. I still have to go Tyreek Hill as the top guy, and then we just had the other two in that other question, so it would be Jaden Reed. Probably a close second for me. I really like him tonight.
Yeah, say the order he typed them in, that's the order that they should be in.
Okay. And then the one and only Zach Bruner, talking about that Bears situation that McAdoo said we were going to say one thing about and let go. It wasn't the timeout. Caleb Williams changed the play at the line of scrimmage in order to go for the win, not listening to his coaches. Exactly. Caleb Williams didn't know how much time was left. He thought it was like the last play or something. Or he just went full rogue to get Eberflus fired. There's that conspiracy too.
Are we gonna start conspiracies on this podcast? Just like Bruner's 9/11 thing that's in the intro now every week.
I am here for it. I don't know that you want to talk to me about how I feel about 9/11, but yeah.
We're not bringing that. Gee, when that took a turn?
All right. I'm
5-minute warning for me.
Here for a good conspiracy. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'll give you evidence if you need it. Okay. Any other questions? Leave those in the chat. McAdoo, why don't we jump into the articles here for a little bit before we hop off? Game kicks off in about 20 minutes. Wide receiver stardom sit-em on the website, flurrysports.org. If you want to go read about these players and a whole bunch of other players that are included in the streamers columns, the waiver wire, if you want to go grab any of those guys. Nick Westbrook-Akine might very well still be available in your league, somebody like that. And then you got these stardom sit-ems here. Speaking of the Titans, McAdoo, you have Calvin Ridley as a start. So you are just all in on Tennessee this week. It's great to see. Talk to us about Calvin Ridley, as well as your other start. I'll throw both of them at you here. Malik Neighbors, who I saw something popped up with him health-wise. I can dig into that, but you like him also this week against the Saints for the Giants.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley, why not trust your wide receiver one this week if you're the Titans and Will Levis? Ridley easily been doing well. And then he's playing the Jags, which the last two games for the Jags, they've allowed 3 receivers to go 19.9 points or more. So, I mean, if my math is correct, that's 1.5 in the last 2 games. So, why not trust wide receiver one for the Titans, especially when Will Levis is throwing the ball pretty well. And then Malik Neighbors. I trust Horsecock Lock too well. I think something about Drew Lock just it makes me want to believe in him, and I believe Malik Neighbors is there to help, to get Drew Lock there. And then the Saints, we've talked about it before. Saints injured to hell and back. They're Marshall Lattimore traded to Washington. Paulson Debo, he's on the IR. They're on their third starting cornerback. So for that reason, I believe in Malik Neighbors.
All
Do you
right.
like the nickname there? I know you laughed at Horace Cocklock.
Yes. Yes, that got me by surprise. The update on Neighbors, he was just limited at practice today with a groin injury. I don't think that's anything to be too scared of. Steven, he's doubling up with George Pickens and Russell Wilson. That is his final decision. We're on board with it. Go get her done. All right. Your sits in the wide receiver article, McAdoo. Brian Thomas for the Jags against those Titans. You even like them on defense. Oh, my God.
It's
McAdoo
weird.
supporting the Titans defense. Are you kidding me? Garrett Wilson also sitting him against the Dolphins. I don't even care about that pick. I want to hear you hype up the Titans defense now after you came at me a few weeks ago. What you got?
Look, I mean, yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago that I said this, but I mean, I believe in the Tennessee defense after reading some of this stuff. I mean, they have the seventh fewest points to wide receivers this season, and with Trevor Lawrence might be done for the year. It's gonna be Mac Jones here on out. Look, I don't like McCorkle. Get him the fuck out of here. Get Brian Thomas out of your lineup unless you absolutely have to have him in there.
All right.
And then,
cool.
Okay, well, I'll finish off. Garrett Wilson has been wide receiver 36 or worse his last 3 games. Aaron Rodgers has looked like a noodle arm the last, fucking month or so. And the Miami Dolphins give up the second fewest points to wide receivers this year.
I like how you're coming out hot, noodle arm and everything. We have a couple other questions here that popped up. One of them involves one of your starts in the article. Jaden Reed, Calvin Ridley, or Rico Dowdle at flex. It is a half-point PPR. So we'll keep that in mind here as we try to break this down. I like all these players this week, so not a bad, arsenal as far as trying to determine which you want to have as your flex in general. McAdoo, which would you be looking to?
I'm between Ridley and Rico here. Like I said, the Bengals defense is atrocious, and a half-point PPR, so about half the points that Ridley would have are gone. Running back is here. I'll say this: Rico floor, Ridley ceiling.
Okay, that's fair enough. Give me Ridley. I'm on board with you in the article. I think I do. Like I said, I like that Titans matchup. I just like some of the other players at these other positions better. In this sense, I will take Calvin Ridley over Jaden Reed, who I've already said I like this week, and I'll take him over Rico Dowdle as well. But man, those Cowboys are coming. That's all I've heard. Brian Anderson, hello. Tucker Kraft or Will Dissly? A tight end question here sneaking in at the end. Kraft obviously tonight against the Lions. Will Dissly with the Chargers Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, who are not great against tight ends for all the accolades that defense has, by the way. This is really close.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, these are both my sits in the tight end article.
Okay.
For that reason, I think you got to stream. You got to stream here, bud. I don't know what to tell you.
Go pick up who? Cole Kmet. There you go. I think I would go Dissly just because of the volume he's been getting, and it's been pretty consistent. If McConkey is banged up, let's say God forbid he gets knocked out of that game or something, I think that funnels more targets to Dissly. And I'm also I don't trust the Chargers to be consistent on the ground, especially against the Chiefs defense, how they shut down running backs. So I think Justin Herbert is going to have to air it out. We've chosen Herbert as our quarterback in some questions previously. So I'll go Will Disley here.
And I will
That's gonna
pick
be-
I will pick Disley too, just
Okay.
because we have to here. But I thought the first thing I was like, wait a minute, I think these are my 2 sits. Shit, they are. So now we got the
It's
sits out
probably
of the
not even
way.
his. Is it even his situation, or is he just trolling you?
I have no idea. It's pretty good.
Wouldn't that be something? All right, we got your 2 sits out of the way.
Yeah, really
talk
quick.
about your
I
tight end
I
starts?
really gotta go now.
Yes, sir.
Whoever starts for the Dallas tight ends, Luke Schoonmaker or Jake Ferguson. If Ferguson starts, start him. If he's still out with his concussion, start Schoonmaker. Bengals give up the second most points on average in tight end position, 16.55 point per game. And then Sam Laporta against the Green Bay Packers defense. Look, Laporta did amazing last week. Granted, 6 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, so look for him in the red zone against the Packers defense.
There you go. My running backs, you can go find that column over at FLURRYSports.org. I'm going to just tease it here. I gave you the 2 of the sits were Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, but I lumped them in together. So you still got 3 more you got to find out over there. Go check that out along with all the other articles. You got Bruner's rankings and the stats that he puts together. He works hard on those, so go check those out. Week 14, man, must win. Whether you're in the playoffs already or your playoffs start next week, this is a must-win week. So let's get this job done. And we'll be back to each of the next few weeks as well to help you out going through the playoffs. All those articles are going to keep pumping out. So sure to check out the site as well. If you're watching on YouTube, throw a like and a subscribe. We would appreciate it. And McAdoo, do you got anything else? Oh, what's the line on the game right now? You got to make your pick.
It was minus 3.5.
I'll just go 3.5 because that's what I got to play. Lions 3.5. Who are you taking?
I'll take the Lions minus 3.5. And give me a Gibbs touchdown. And Josh Jacobs over, I'll say 75 yards just to be safe.
All right. McAdoo likes the favorite and the running backs. There you go. I think I agree with him on that Lions pick. Seems a little short for me, even with the defensive injuries. That'll do it for us. We'll be back next week. Thank you all for hanging out, and best of luck this week. Let's get those dubs, and we will see you on the other side in the fantasy football playoffs. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.